Alrighty, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. So, wanted to do a weekend Bitcoin and Ethereum update. So, right now, what I'm looking at closely is the 16-day green dot that's going to confirm about 26 minutes. A really bullish sign, I would say, overall. Um, you know, right here, mark the bottom, that bear market, right here, mark the bottom, that bear market. And right now, seems to be marking the bottom right now, 26 minutes to go. Every bull market is different. We're in a recession now, so there are a few things to argue that we still could be headed down farther. If we do go into recession, that could bottom out with S&P 500 in mid to late next year, possibly. So we have to have that to worry about as well. On your 10-day, you can look at the curvature. You're not in the red just yet, so that would be a bit more of your bearish case right now. But let's talk about more, in the short term, what I think could happen. Your weekly is kind of the same deal. See how money flow is deeper here, and money flow is deeper here when you bottomed out in these two bear markets. So it could be a little bit different this time. More and more people agreed. Index is getting higher. Fear index. It's still more fearful, but it's definitely going back up into the greed. More and more people think we have bottomed out, and the likelihood that we have bottomed out is higher. I'm not completely convinced, but I mean, there definitely is a higher likelihood right now, especially with some of these RSIs, especially in the 5-day, that would really point to being bottomed out. So yeah, if you move down to the daily right here, I mean, on the daily, we have our split RSIs, coming back up. I believe probably the next red dot, whenever it does print, this could be, in a few days from now, could even be, August 16th, 4 days, early next week or something. That'll probably signal a local top. We're in this, wedge right here, and it's been about 2 months now. That's usually the longest I've looked back. Usually the longest these go is 2 months. So that would bring us, right here where it started, about June 16th. August 16th would be kind of the end of it, where we're either going to break up some more or break down. Now, descending wedges are typically more bearish. Some big names like Garrett Solway think, they've said, high 20s, and then a comeback from there. I could see another big fan of mine who's always in the live streams at Cool. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Has been talking about 26, kind of this area or this area right here. So these two lines are really big to look at for the short term into early next week or this weekend if we continue forward. Now, kind of what we also want to look at as well is this money flow on the daily. How high could we get here with this money flow on the daily? It would be another about 15% or something. I don't know if we're going to come up that much more. Let's see. Let's see from where we are right now. We're at 24. Right about, yeah, that's right about right. I believe 24.4, and I don't even remember. So it's just 10% up there would be the 12%. A lot of spiral lines up there. It's a big point, and you kind of bounce off of that over here as well. I'm kind of thinking, the top of this wedge, 26 or something around that area, 26.4, or over here are big places to look. Now, what could happen right now? You are printing a bearish div. We've had a lot of these. Money flow is kind of choppy here. Not much to derive from this. Do have the RSIs coming up high, which means you could start to come down a bit. I'd be careful. We are into the weekend, but the reason I think you could have a little leg glassed up is a green dot here on the 8-day while you're 8 hour, while you're coming back with the money flow. Now, it's a high green dot here. This one didn't give you too much, but it could be something like this from the local bottom. That's 6.2%. 6.2% would be right around here, this area, this spiral line right here. So back up to 25. When would that happen? You could see that tomorrow or the next day into the weekend. Be careful trading the weekends. Those are always harder. Also, 5-day, that's kind of the same green dot right there. These general types of, what we could see, general type of jump like that. More of, most bullish case, probably 10% from here, something along those lines. You could get up to, right to the top of this wedge. When would that happen? A couple days, maybe until Monday. Then Monday brings us down. And some of your lower time frames, kind of neutral in between. Not too much to derive from some of these. Your hourly, you could get a bearish div pretty soon as you get it hit up to this area maybe. But yeah, that's kind of the next big point right there. And that, I believe we have the money flow crossover on the 30-minute as well. So look, if we kind of repeat something like, I mean, this is a little weird. It's kind of hard to say where to map it from, but 7-8%, that type of deal. Where did that come through? Yeah, 7% right around there. It's 25, so high 25s to 26. Big area to look at based on this analysis right here. Shorter term, really low time frames, money flow coming out. So I would expect us naturally to kind of come down a little bit before that happens. Now let's look at Ethereum right now. Same deal on the 16-day that confirms in 20 minutes. We'll see after. We'll see. I mean, in terms of what we've seen for bear market, come back up, bear market again. Definitely could be the bottom. I see strong evidence, strong arguments on both sides right now. I do think in terms of getting into altcoins right now, you're up so much on this. I mean, I was mapping it. You're up almost 130% right now. If you map out unless we go hyperbolic, which I doubt that'll happen, but if you even map out what we did before, pullback over, I remember this pullback down to like, a little bit, where was it? Let me show you on like the 2-day, would be better to show you. I would expect it to be, something like this, even if we continue forward a lot. This was 140%, 130, 140%. Then you're looking at just probably 20%, 30% pullback. If you get up to, 2,000, I'd say, maybe a little bit higher, then you come back 30%. 1,400 would be a good place to look at this and other altcoins. This has really ripped lately. Also, you got the merge coming next month, so that could be a sell the news type of thing. Keep in mind, September is normally a really bad month for crypto and Bitcoin. I was kind of hoping we would bottom out in September and it could be by the rumor, but no, that's going to be, seems like it'll be more like sell the news, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. So yeah, here we go. Not a bearish div just yet on the 16-hour. It's kind of induced it, kind of a strong argument to make that we'd come up a little bit more. Also, your green dot right here, kind of like a high green dot. What have these been giving us in this environment? 8%, something like that. We're at right here. What's 8% right from there? 2,100 or something. You do have the spiral line right there, but if Bitcoin gets up to 26, this could come up a little bit more. I don't know if you'd get up to 23. That's a bit of a stretch, but you could see some resistance kind of at these parts before 21. I don't know. The spiral lines are good on ETH, but I wouldn't say they're as good as the ones on Bitcoin. Also, your 6-hour kind of green dot, that would be the same type of trajectory there. 8 or 9%. Let's do this one from the bottom. 8 or 9% right here. So you're going to have something at this spiral line, at least some type of at least small reaction, in my opinion. Now, 4-hour, you may, as you hit this would be a nice short. If you get a 4-hour bearish div as you're rejecting off of that spiral line, that could be pretty big as well. Some money flow curvature under 2-hour to bring us down a little bit in the short term, possibly as we reject off of this area. Again, can't stress this enough. Always be careful trading the weekends. I've learned that the hard way a lot of times. Money flow generally coming out in your 30-minute. But if you kind of repeat this trajectory for ETH, kind of when the money flow crossed over upward with the good CPI news, or so-called, who knows, kind of fake CPI news. I mean, we'll see. But kind of like here, what was it, 13% or something? I believe, yeah, 21. So that's a big point to look for. If ETH has been having a mind of its own. If it keeps going, maybe 23 or something, who knows? But I think after that, you'll probably be looking at, from wherever we top out at, probably a 30% correction or something. Like I showed you earlier, this is going to be a big place to look. This spiral line around here, 1,400, good place to look. I mean, I would say lock in some profits now or whatever. Obviously, if you're long, but yeah. Never financial advice though, or just try to, write it up a little bit more. But if you're somebody who got in way down here and made a killing, I mean, it would make a lot of sense to take profits. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. what I want to show you on the SPY right now, there's two arguments to make. So, we look at times like where we've just been deep in the green here. The longest it's really gone on for, like in terms of just going straight up in the history, is about 15 to 20 years, really 20 years. But in terms of like being in the green on the monthly, it's about 15 years, 85 to '01, so 15, 16 years, give or take. Um, what I'm showing you here too is I just want to show you like how it got green here and then right down in these recessions, green here and then right down. Look at where money flow is right now. Look at where money flow is right there, kind of the point where we went green, close to it. So, bear market rallies are real. Be careful. Now, there's always going to be some type of bullish case. We are in a recession though. It's already been, they changed the definition of recession, but we are in a recession by any measures that would have been said back here. So that gives a lot of reason to believe that we would come down quite a bit more, and this could be just one of those rallies before it all plans out. The market is known to go back many years back in time. However, if you do continue forward with this, I mean, how many years have 2012 to 22 right now? You got about 3 more years of just coming up, and we're going to get to, I don't know, who knows, 6,000, 7,000 or something for the S&P 500 before you really go into recession in 2025. Maybe that's when you could keep printing money until things really break loose, things really fall apart. That's possible. I think most likely, though, you're kind of headed into recession, especially with how gold versus SPX looks. I'm not going to show you it now, but there's another video of me kind of talking about that. It looks very similar to right before the 1970s and right before the dot-com, right before the early 2000s, excuse me. Also, 1973, this recession look. You get that pattern where you come back up, bull market rally. So could be, bullish, green, August, maybe sideways, maybe bullish another week, sideways, then you start to pull back. September being a red month, and that brings us down towards the end of the year. That could ultimately be possible. The way you would map this out to bottom out in a recession would be kind of, how much time did it take from here to there? This was May '08, then you bottomed out in February '09. So that was about, let's see, May is the 5th month. That was 9 months basically. And then this one was probably a little bit longer. This one, if you say we're right here, I guess, this was May to give or take October. So I believe that was May '01, right? Yeah, May '01 to October 22. Same, or actually more. That's a year and like 3 months or something. So a year to a year and a half. I would give it like 9 months to a year and a half. That area, 19 to 18 months, kind of would bottom out for a recession. So it would be kind of a boring time. I mean, we've come up just so much with S&P 500 without anything, too major happening, aside from the pandemic there, but that was a V-shaped recovery. So that's what we got to worry about here. If this does play out into a recession, I mean, I don't know if Bitcoin can outperform it in a recession, if it would act like gold. Maybe it will for the first time. We don't know. If it doesn't, it would continue down further. And that's where, a lot of people think either we bottomed out right now and we're home free, or the other side of people think that we haven't bottomed out. Still, the majority of people think that we haven't bottomed out, and the bottom's going to be between 10, 14K, somewhere around there. The other scenario, now I don't think this is very likely. Other scenarios where you go far below 10K, like Gareth Soloway talked about, 3K or 5K or 7K, those areas, which would kind of make sense if you go into a bad recession. However, with all the money printing, everything else going on, I don't really see that happening. So I just want to, put that out there. Anything can happen. Anything is possible at the end of the day. It's all a game of probability. So hope you guys enjoyed this update. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. And check out my links if you're an experienced trader. BITGET, MEXC, BITGET down below. Check out my trading course as well. Link in the description below. Good discount code right now. A lot of people have really liked it, so check it out, especially if you're new. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.